So, the spoilers are out for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 346, and let me just say that from what we see with the spoilers, yeah, the heroes are going to have their hands full taking on Shigaraki in more ways than one, and you'll see why that's the case right after this. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy, Manga Man Drew, and I'm here to cover the spoilers for My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 346, titled, and this is a handful, a super hyper stupidly broken stage. And from what we see with the spoilers of this chapter, weirdly enough, that is very accurate for what we see, because from what we see with a general idea of what the spoilers have, we are actually going to be focusing in this chapter on the fight between Shigaraki as well as Bakugo and the other heroes, and we get to see exactly who is going to be in this area of this fight. Really enough, we're not going to be seeing Deku in any way or fashion, but from what we get with the spoilers, I think we're going to be okay with that, because there's going to be a lot of action and a lot of cool planning in this fight, and it's going to be very interesting when I read it off to you. So, let's dive into the spoilers, starting off with the chapter beginning with Bakugo, Nejire, Tamiki, Mirko, and Edgeshot coming out of the portal, something that I made and predicted was going to be happening from my discussion video, but as this is happening, Best Genius is panicked that Deku isn't there and asks what happened. Bakugo replies that he was probably pulled out by someone. Tamiki starts to panic because One for All was the basis of the plan. Nejire says that they need to inform everyone, and Mirko just wants to fight to start soon. Shigaraki's eyes are completely white, and he analyzes the situation. Since he can see the buildings below, he soon realizes that they are on a surface floating in the sky. None of the fugitives or members of the Liberation Front are there, so he will have to deal with this on his own. P.S. He's apparently using Boku, All for One's first person pronoun. So from just this first part of the text spoilers, we see that these certain heroes are going up specifically against Shigaraki, and that it's not going to be Shigaraki and the other villains versus the heroes. It's just going to be the heroes that are here versus Shigaraki, and we get to see a little bit more of the plan that the heroes have to take down Shigaraki, and it's very intricate and very interesting. And then there's also the fact that at this moment in time, most likely All for One, or whatever Shigaraki is being taken over, which is why he's being very analytical in this moment. And as we see from the next line of text spoilers, Shigaraki touches the ground and it begins to use his decay, but underneath the floor are the iron plates, and that the same instant that they are propelled upward and launch Shigaraki into the air, causing him to touch the force field and be electrocuted. Before he can recover from the shock, Best Genius holds him down with huge wires and throws him to the ground. He soon tears through these wires and realizes that the expelled plates are crumbling in midair, making him understand that this is a mechanism designed to neutralize the decay propagation. Shigaraki then tries to provoke Genius by saying that he just has to destroy it repeatedly, and that will be the end of this strategy. But in the next instance, we see the destroyed floor being replaced by new plates. Genius says that he doesn't need to worry because they have plenty of resources. So we're beginning to see what their plan is and how this actual floating fortress works, and we actually get to see who's directly involved in it, particularly when it comes to the electrified force field as well as the plates being replenished. As we cut over to the next line of text spoilers, where you say that Genius concludes by saying that this is an air fortress created especially to defeat Shigaraki, and we see a bit of the inside of this structure. Power Loader comes out of a wall warning Cementos of the plates that were destroyed, and he says that they will start the construction. Hatsume asks Momo to provide the metal parts, but forgets her name. Momo introduces herself and says that her friends call her Yao Momo, and in the background we see Lunch Rush preparing food so that she can use her quirk for a longer period of time. Best Genius says that they are fully aware of Shigaraki's power based off the previous war in the battle with Star, and that Hatsume herself suggested the idea that this arena to neutralize him. We see a brief flashback of her coming up with it and how this was incorporated into the modifications previously made by the principal. This upgrade was only possible thanks to the collaboration between Momo, Cementos, Power Loader, and Ectoplasm. So this is very interesting, and I may talk about this more in the review proper, but it's very cool to see in this chapter, most likely, that we're going to be seeing characters using their quirks, not necessarily for combat, but to hinder Shigaraki, and we see that Momo as well as the teachers are involved with it, creating sort of a pseudo-infinite way to prevent DK from being really that detrimental to the heroes. But as we get in the next part of the tech spoilers, we also get an explanation for the electromagnetic force field, or the electrified force field. Because we see the electrified force field was made from huge cables of energy coming out of a single platform. There we see Kaminari, Fukudashi, and 2 other students from other school years releasing as much electricity as they can. Fukudashi is holding an onomatopoeia for gu, which is the sound of thunder. Gina's speech continues as he says that no one there cares about money or prestige, that they just want to protect the tomorrow. We see Bakugo and Mirko heading towards Shigaraki, and he thinks about deflecting with Shockwave quirk, but is unable to use it. The reason is simple. Monoma is nearby, sitting in a chair next to Aizawa while copying his erasure. Manuel is with them, using his water to prevent Monoma from blinking. As long as they are together, Monoma's time limit can be recharged as many times as they need. So from what we see with this part of the tech spoilers, we get a more explanation for how this electrified force field works, and we get to see that other characters, other students, are working together to create this, and that all of this isn't being done by like money or infinite resources, but by the quirks of the heroes and how they are being used. This is very interesting, and like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about it in the actual review proper, but this is very cool to see how these quirks are working together to create this big thing, and doing so in a more realistic manner. It's not that they just have the technology that can create these force fields and these infinite plates, but that they have quirks doing it, and that's so cool to see. As well as just the confirmation that Monoma is using Aizawa's erasure with the help of Manuel, and I'm glad that Manuel is somehow playing a part in this, but that's something that we all predicted, and it's just cool to see that confirmation in this chapter. So now we get to the final part of the spoilers, and the final part of this chapter most likely, as we have the text spoilers saying that the problem is that now it was time for Midoriya to use all of his strength to finish off Shigaraki, but now he isn't there, and that's when another problem arises. Countless hands start squirting from Shigaraki's arm. Mirko asks Bakugo what the hell this is, and he replies that he doesn't know. He didn't use it last time. Aizawa then remembers that Shigaraki was incomplete during the battle at Jaku. The chapter ends with Shigaraki saying that he always thought Eraser was cool, but now he's disappointed with his role in the plan. At the same time, he sends those hands towards Mirko, and although the decay isn't working, we can see some blood coming out of her. End of chapter. So this is probably the most interesting part of the spoilers as well as the chapter, as we get the reveal that Shigaraki's arms may actually not be associated with a quirk, because currently it is being quote-unquote erased, but yet he's able to do it. So what does this mean? Well, we do know for a fact that this is theorized to be him extending past the singularity, so we don't exactly know what it is. Most likely we're going to get an explanation of it, if not next chapter, but more in this chapter, but most likely next chapter. So yeah, that's all the spoilers that we have for right now. I can't wait to do a review for this chapter. I already know what I'm going to say at the beginning of this chapter. I already know it. It's already in my head. I already gave hints to it in this video. If you caught on, you caught on. But yeah, from what we see in this chapter spoilers, this next chapter is going to be something very heavily focused when it comes to battle and combat, but also strategy, and how the heroes were able to come up with a strategy that is fairly realistic, not that far off, that is actually working against Shigaraki, and that the only reasoning why it's not working to its utmost potential is because Deku isn't here. So yeah, I can't wait for the actual chapter to come out. This is going to be an amazing chapter. I really enjoyed covering the spoilers, and hopefully you enjoyed me covering them as well. Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below on what you thought of this spoiler video, as well as leave a comment down below on whether you think that Mirko is dead or alive, or that she's just heavily injured. Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this when I cover the spoilers, do discussions, as well as reviews for My Hero Academia. Do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!